Hello, I'm going to record problem 17 right now. So 17 is a problem regarding relative velocity. We have a girl here who is running to the right at 5 meters per second, and there are two balls thrown at her. This is ball 1 and this is ball 2. They're both thrown at 10 meters per second. One is thrown toward her from the left and the other is thrown toward her from the right. So the first question is, according to Anita, the girl, what is the speed of the first ball? And then the second one is, what is the speed of the second ball? So let's look at this a little bit. First of all, if this ball were moving at, let's say it were moving at 5 meters per second, and Anita were moving at 5 meters per second, wouldn't it seem to her as though she and the ball had no decrease in distance at all? They just would move down the road equal distance apart. They both have the same velocity, therefore the distance between them is not changing. So the only way for her to have a velocity, or to see this ball as having a velocity, is if the velocity of the ball is either greater than or less than 5. So it would either be moving toward her or moving away from her. Now it actually has a velocity of 10, 5 more than this. So if it has a velocity of 5, to her it appears stationary. But if we add an additional 5, so the velocity is now 10, then it's going to be, relative to her, approaching at 5 meters per second. Now likewise, let's look at the ball on this side. Since Anita is moving this way at a speed of 5, let's imagine for a second that this ball were stationary, weren't moving at all. It would appear to her that this ball is approaching her at 5 meters per second. Now it's actually her approaching it, but from her perspective it would look like the ball is getting closer to her at a rate of 5 meters per second. But now what if we were to propel that ball an additional 10 meters per second this way? Then it would appear to her as though the ball is approaching her at a total of 5 plus 10, or 15 meters per second. So again, relative velocity, you have to decide what your frame of reference is. In this case, it is her. And so imagine if they're both moving at 5 meters per second, it's like she and the ball are both sitting on a truck that's driving down the road at 5 meters per second. From her perspective, nothing changes. That ball has to move greater than that 5 meters per second for there to be a relative distance change between them. And likewise here, even if the ball isn't moving, it appears to her as though the ball is getting closer to her. But if we propel the ball the other direction, then it's going to get closer to her even quicker. So that's how we get the 15 meters per second.